So welcome everyone. A few announcements before the class begins is actually I'm not gonna even promote anything. All right, I'm just gonna do a class. All right, so I'm gonna be going over time-based liquidity in today's lecture. It's pretty. I mean, it's stuff I've talked about before. It's just I haven't used the word time-based liquidity, if that makes sense. So all time-based liquidity is what is. For anyone who doesn't know what it is, try to guess. If you know what it is, do not guess. What does time-based liquidity you probably know what liquidity means. How would adding time-based make you know what it means? Yes, exactly. It's the liquidity that's creating inside a kill zone. So if we have a kill zone, let's say it's Dodgy's made up kill zone. Let's say I created a new kill zone. It's called Dodgy's kill zone, and it's from let's say 4:20 p.m. in the afternoon to 4:20 a.m. So let's say it's 4:20 to 4:20. We're calling it Dodgy's kill zone. All right. So we have our kill zone now. All right. And in this box, our time-based liquidity is whatever high and low is created in between these two lines. So I don't care what price action we get. We could literally get this for all I care. Whatever high or low is created, the high or low of the session between these times, 4:20 p.m. to 4:20 a.m., is your time-based liquidity for that session, that section. So your time-based liquidity here would be this high because this is the highest high, right? If I were to zoom out, way like that, this is the only high you're gonna see. I mean, you can kind of see this one, but not really. This is gonna be the high. This is gonna be the low. And when I zoom in, it looks like a lot like, oh, we have a bunch of other highs and lows here. When I zoom out, no, you don't. Just this one and this one. That's the obvious one. So you can see your time-based liquidity for this is whatever occurs during this time, the high and low during that time. Right? I don't care if we created a high right before 4:20. This is not your time-based liquidity here. Your time-based liquidity based off of this kill zone only is this high, okay? Does that make sense? Type 1 if it makes sense. All right. So like, how do you actually use time-based liquidity? Well, I've talked about it before, right? Just I haven't used the term time-based liquidity. But for time-based liquidity specifically, all you're really looking for is that time-based liquidity to be swept. So let's say we're in a larger downtrend. Okay. On the higher time frame, if I zoom out, let's say we're in a larger time frame downtrend. So see if you can picture this. This is a 1 minute time frame. This is a 15-minute time frame. Does everyone see the difference between the 15-minute and then the 1 minute? Right? This 15-minute would look like this if this was the 15-minute. So the red is the 15-minute. This is where it can get a little confusing. And the red is the 15-minute and the blue is the 1 minute. Does everyone see like how that differs? Okay. So when you're looking for a time-based liquidity sweep, right? If we know the order flow is bearish, so if we know we're making lower lows and lower highs, right? Basic knowledge. This is very basic, but if we know that and we're looking for a sweep, I often look for sweeps at time-based liquidity, meaning I look for a sweep that occurs during a specific time. Okay? I don't care if we sweep some random high that's outside of an important time. An important time would be a kill zone, high or low, or lunch high or low. right? Lunch is, I'm going to go over lunch too. But we don't need to, if price comes in here, okay, we do not need to sweep all the way up here. This is just a random high from like not even a kill zone. Like this could be a high from everything outside of this box. I don't care about this. All I care about is the high that was formed in the certain time in this kill zone, a Dottie's kill zone. All I care about is if that high is taken out, then I will look short. That's your time-based liquidity setup. We don't need to short the non-time-based liquidity. We need to short. We're allowed to short. I mean, we can't sweep it. We don't have to. You can see it, right? Maybe we don't get a short setup and we sweep it and then we get a short setup. But what this tells you is we're allowed to take a short if we sweep the time-based liquidity that occurred during this specific time. We don't have to go higher. We could just short this. So that's ideally what time-based liquidity is in a nutshell. Okay. And the reason that's what I was getting to is because inside these kill zones is when we get the most volume. So you're going to get a lot more volume here. Let's say this is our volume. And then here's our volume here. So you're going to get a lot more of orders and a lot more liquidity at these time-based liquidity pools than you're going to get at these times where volume is dead. Does that make sense? Type 1 if that makes sense. Okay. So this is, I'm going over the practical side of kill zone liquidity, right? A lot of people understand, oh, London high, London low. This is the why it works. Like, this is the practicality of it, right? This is why it's important. An imposter. I mean, when you take a short inside or outside of kill zone, generally, like I said, it wants to be inside of kill zone. So let's say we have Dodgy's kill zone here, 4:20 to 4:20 p.m. All right. And then let's say the next kill zone right here. Let's say the next kill zone starts at, let's say, let me just make a box real quick. This is the next kill zone. So the next kill zone starts at, let's say, 5:38 p.m. So 17:38 p.m. Okay, and then this lasts until, let's just say this lasts till midnight. So we got a 17:38 p.m. kill zone. Starts at 5:38. Okay, and typically, what happens is the volume drops in between right here because this is not a kill zone. All right, so not a lot of volume here. Okay, let's just say it's gonna look like before, but then when we get in that 17:38 p.m. kill zone, you know, everyone has a beer, everyone's energized, right? There's Leopard, he's a Pineapple Willies, he's a beer in his hand. Now, let's say he wants to trade the market, and everyone else wants to do the same because they're all Pineapple Willies, they're all drinking beer, they all want to trade. So now the volume goes up during this specific kill zone. So now price will tend to be much better, it'll move quicker, and typically what you'll see is the market doesn't really care about running liquidity during outside of kill zone, right? If we're outside of this box, a lot of times because of the lack of volume, we don't get a lot of volatility. So this will happen. And then once we enter the kill zone, Leopard or let's say TV Swept or Bruce Silver, they're drunk out of their mind, they're taking a beer. Now they want to long and run this liquidity, this old high from the previous session. Right. So because and this is where the market tends to like come alive. The market's not really alive here. You know, the market's kind of dead here. It doesn't care. It doesn't care. It's like you don't care about your ex-boyfriend or girlfriend, right? I mean, some people do, but it doesn't care here. It doesn't want to do anything. It just wants to chillax here. Just maybe the market wants to have a beer too. Who knows? And when we enter that kill zone, okay, like this is when the market actually cares about running a liquidity. And this is where you want to trade. Okay, this is where you want to trade. So typically, like, this is a lot more volatile. The market will actually care about running previous kill zone highs and lows. So hopefully this answers your question. But in this situation here, we have our previous high and low. Okay, it's from this kill zone, obviously. We clearly run this high. All right. And why do we run this high here and not here? Because this is the kill zone. This is when all the volume comes in. This is when the market wants, this is when the market's going to generate enough liquidity to actually have the ability to stop people out. Okay, the market is not going to have the ability. It's not going to have enough volume to go stop these people out. We're not going to have enough orders to get us there. When all this volume comes in, that's when the market has the ability to take this out. So that's typically when you want to find a trade setup, because there's more of a chance outside of it. There's more of a chance inside the kill zone where the market will want to run this liquidity, because that's when it has enough volume to. That's why, again, these low volume out of kill zone sessions, you can find setups, but half the time they don't work, because if we get a bullish rally gap, half the time the market won't want to run liquidity, so we'll reject it and we'll just totally get wrecked, and then we'll get another bullish rally gap. People are gonna buy here, and then we're just gonna keep going down, and then we'll go back up. Then we'll go down again, and then finally, this is when the bullish rally gap will work, and then we'll go up. Okay, because that's when the market has enough volume to liquidate these stop losses. So typically, if you are looking for a setup, ideally you want it to be during the next kill zone. Now, you can get in a little before, because maybe price is being respected and you know the kill zone's about to start, but it can be risky. Typically, like the beginning to here, like, you just do not want to trade any of this. Tama, buyers and sellers do not move the market. It's all algorithms. But the volume, like the amount of algorithms, like, it's like, how do I explain this? There's obviously volume in the market. The more volume, the more volatility. That's just basic, not even ICT. That's just basic market. So without volume, the market's not going to move. That's a fact. And that's where ICT gets its kill zones from. Like, he knows when more algorithms are going to participate in the marketplace. So the algorithms are going to participate in the marketplace during these hours, because that's when everyone's trading. That's when the market opens, right? Just, yeah. Does that make sense? 8:30 to 11 is typically when we get the most movement. That's why ICT labels it as a kill zone. Why does it get the most movement? Because that's when that's when more algorithms are trading. Oh yeah, I know, Christy. It's just, I was just using examples of time. So how can we apply this to the chart? Let's apply this to the chart. So there's my little drawing. Hope you guys enjoyed that. So I think I'm going to use lunch as an example, because lunch is, a lot of people are, London high and London low, but lunch is 12 to 1. Okay. So our time base, so I'm just going to search for time-based liquidity during lunch. So here's 12 o'clock. Here's 1 o'clock. Where is the high and low formed during this time period? The high of this whole time period was formed right here. Here's the high. The low of this time period was formed here. So this is our time-based liquidity. So, okay, let me check this out. So you can see this candle outside. So yeah, London 2 to 5, New York 7 to 10. So now we have our time-based liquidity. We have our lunch high and lunch low. Why don't I point out? Why don't I care about this high here? Yeah, these are recorded. Yeah, because it's not a kill zone. It's not time based. This is not time based. This lunchtime is not a kill zone, guys. It doesn't have to be a kill zone. It could be a macro. It could be anything. This is lunch. Okay, it's outside of this lunchtime, and this has to do with ICT's one setup for life. But in this example here, I only care about this high and this high. I don't care about low day. I don't care about high day because this is time based. It's only between the period of 11 or 12 and 1. Okay, so now that we've ran, so what are we ideally looking for here? What are we ideally looking for using time based liquidity? Yeah, we're looking for some sort of liquidity sweep of either the high or the low. Okay. Would you rather eat or not trade for 1 year? Well, if I don't eat, I'm dying. So I'm saying eat. So we're looking for a sweep here. Do we know if we're going to sweep the lunch high or low first here? Notice how I said eat, not eat D. I said eat. That's all I said. I did read the whole thing, but I got him. The joke's on him because I didn't say the second part. So do we know if we're gonna run the high or low here? At this very time, do you know if we're gonna run the high or low? Yes, it's all New York time, Baker. And no, I trade other things other than IFEG, but that's like my main model sonar. Yeah, so we don't know what if we're gonna run the high or low here. Now, because of this candle, obviously retail mindset is gonna be like, well, this is bullish. Well, great if it's bullish. I'm still not long in it. I'm gonna wait till one of these gets swept because I've seen a bullish candle go down, right? So now we've seen, okay, we swept this time-based liquidity. What do we look for now? Yeah, now we look for a short because we have our time-based liquidity. Our time-based liquidity was here. We left over some time-based liquidity from before. So we look for a short. Now, so we're going to look for, maybe we'll look for a 1 minute. This is going to be very, very sloppy. Let's look for a bullish rally gap to turn bearish after a liquidity sweep. So, I don't even know if this works. I'm not going to lie. All right, so I guess we can take this one. Stop above this, and then now where do we target? I have no idea if this works. I know he dropped here at some point. I don't know when. I don't think price action is clean here. This might fail. I don't not trade only IFEG, Sonar. So we have our setup here. This is the 30-second model, by the way. I mean, we could take it off the 1 minute, but it doesn't matter. So where could we target? Yeah, we could below the launch. Launch was down here, so this would be your first target, and then this would be your second target. Or time-based liquidity. Now, should you hold the full position here? No, hell no. Definitely not. I think your first scale spot should be here because if your bias is wrong, we're gonna bounce from here. And why here? Just this is so obvious. If I know if I was bullish, I'd definitely buying here. So we have our kind of inverse here. We don't really get a good 2022 model. I mean, this is your 2022 model. If we violate this, so if this could be a market structure shift. Yes, we are in a kill zone right now. This is 130. 130 to 4 is a kill zone. So the market will want to run highs and lows here. So if we get a 2022 model here, I'll point it out as well. Okay. MSS is market structure shift. So if we close below this, this would also be a 2022 model if we get a bearish rally gap here. All right, let's see what happens. All right, so stop the break even there. Probably get stopped, but we're just going to keep it anyways. So this ends up getting stopped. Okay, so let's get stopped. And I didn't know if it was or not. This would actually be a break-even play. And the reason why is because we hit the internal low. and then we go back up, this would be a break-even play immediately. And it would save me. This is another break-even play that it would get south break-even, and you'd take the loss anyways. So that was that play. That fails. Now let's see. Did we get a good market structure shift here? No, we didn't. All right, there's no displacement below slow. Let's see if we do get one. There's another bullish for value gap here. This one doesn't pop out as me that much, but if we violate that one, I'll take it again. So nothing here, nothing here. Not getting any bearish market structure shifts here. I think I'd move my market structure shift up to here if we got it. This is really bad price action. I knew it was bad price action. Like I said, I know he dumped here at some point. I just don't know when. Okay. Oh, never mind. I was going to say I would have shorted that. That was a good displacement. Man, this is terrible. All right, we got another obvious bullish right up here. So this one, maybe I'll try a short again. We took kind of liquidity here. Okay, so here's another short. So then stop there. This is not a 2022 model because we don't have a market structure shift. But again, what I'm going to do is I'm going to target half here and then target the rest here. And again, I don't know if this works or fails. This is all live time for me. I don't know. See. Okay, so this one looks like it works. So stop will go to break even here, and then I'd probably do my first scale like down here. Okay, so this would be my first scale. I'd exit one here, buy one. And then actually I would be out 2 here. I would not hold 3 here. And then my runner would be, I know this low hits. My runner would be the time-based liquidity right here. Okay, so right there I'm buying. Now, my runner would not be to the low day. It would be to the time-based liquidity only. Okay, you're probably wondering why wouldn't you hold it to the low day? Because I'm more interested in time-based liquidity here. All right, I don't care if we hit low day. I want lunch lows. This is a great liquidity pool. All right. So we get 2 setups. One fails, one works. Not the greatest price action, but they're both textbook. Both of these kind of setups kind of both took liquidity here. All right, we took this high here. I mean, you can even say we took this high, barely displaced over it, and even this high too. So both were good setups. Just I got caught in bad price action here, and this one price action definitely cleaned out. And it's lunch. I mean, no, this wasn't lunch. It was 1:32. So, but the liquidity was formed during lunch. So if we hit lunch highs here, right? If we hit lunch highs here, and we leave lunch lows, what would be the target? Lunch lows, because we already took lunch highs. Why would we need to go back to lunch highs? We need to take lunch lows. So again, just time-based liquidity. You wait till one of them's taken out, and then you target the other time-based liquidity. Not low day, not low of year, just whatever is formed during that time. And now that we've hit this lunch low, what could you look for now? Yeah, PM is right after lunch. PM starts at 1:30. Yeah, now you could. So this is where it gets more advanced. Now what I'm looking for is okay, does the market truly want to go to low day here? Like, you will not be able to tell. I mean, maybe I'd be holding around there, but typically not. I can tell if the market wants to go to this low or not. How can you tell? Yeah, kind of momentum. Does it matter? Like, if we got a long setup off of lunch lows, would you take it without the market hitting the low day? I'll tell you my answer. I just want more people to answer real quick. So if we got a long setup after hitting lunch lows, and we didn't hit low day, would you still take the long setup here? This is a lot more of an advanced question. Okay. My answer is, what do you think my answer is? It's about a 50-50 split here. Are you ready? Ready to hear the answer? So there's kind of two answers here. One, there's really no answer here because it all depends on like, oh, if we equal lows down here, well, I'd obviously target down here. All right. And I would not fade those. But the other answer depends on like higher time frame bias. Is the RB very high, whatever, blah, blah. Or is there an SMT? If I see an SMT form here or something or whatever, and we get a long setup off here, I will long it. I will not wait for this low day. Like if we get no displacement below lunch low and we get a long setup, I will 100% long it. Even though maybe I wasn't planning on longing it, it's like, oh well, now we have conditions to long it. Like lunch low is good enough to long a setup. Like I don't need to see lower. It's good enough to long a setup. Okay, and you get your 2022 model right here, which I'm not going to take because I already know this works at some point. But here's the 2022 model. You got your market structure shift here. Okay, retracing the fair value gap. So it's like we don't like at this time in price. Like I'm looking for low day and lunch low to be taken out. Like I would maybe hold a runner to here, but I would still take a long setup if we swept lunch low and we barely displace under it and we get an obvious setup, right? This is fine enough. This is a good liquidity pool. We don't have to take out every liquidity pool. As long as we take out one important one, like a lunch low, lunch high, data lows, data highs, you don't have to wait for low day. If the setup presents itself, you can long without waiting for the low day. The only time I would never do that is if there's like equal lows here and we just got really close to them. Like I would not fade that. But if it's not equal lows, I don't typically, like I'll long anyways. Okay, obviously there's no equal lows here, but like, does that make sense to what I'm saying to you guys? That's why like you have to adjust sometimes in live time. You might not be planning to take a long here, but we might get one because it's an important liquidity pool. And we have an SMT maybe that you just never saw that you didn't know was going to form. And then you see an SMT to form. An SMT is when NQ makes a higher low, but maybe ES takes out low day and NQ doesn't. So it's a little divergence. No, you can use SMTs for Forex. I mean, what can you use an SMT? Is EU and GU? Can you do an SMT with those two? I don't even know. I think you can. So EU and GU, or EU and DXY, DXY and GU. Gold and whatever. Gold and I don't even know what you can use for gold, but okay, gold and GU, I think you can. I'm not sure though. So yeah. So SMT is when the market comes down and we don't take out a low. So let's say we don't take out this low, and let's say ES does take out the low. So ES does, but NQ doesn't. So ES, here's ES, here's NQ. It's a little divergence. One hits a low, one doesn't, and we get a long setup. Yeah, I agree, Morgs. You can't just watch one. You have to watch ES and NQ. This is a lot more advanced, but I think the main problem people have with SMTs is they don't long a setup with a bearish SMT when the bias is still bullish. Now, I'm not going to repeat that because that's a lot to understand, especially if you're newer. But that's the more advanced and really good traders I see. That's what happens. They don't long a bearish SMT even though the bias is still bullish, and it's still going to work. The bearish SMT won't matter. And then they hesitate and then they don't take the setup. That's the one thing of really good traders I see happen all the time. So, yeah. I think that's going to be it. Again, time-based liquidity I went over, lunch highs. Obviously, there's other time-based liquidity. There's London high, London low. So 2 a.m. to 2 p.m. or 2 a.m. to 5 a.m. would be London high and London low. So here's the London kill zone. Starts at 2 a.m., starts at this red line, finishes here. So your time-based liquidity here would be this low with London. It would be this high, and then you just wait for one to get swept, and then you go the opposite way. And you can see we sweep London high, then we go to London low. Any Apex discounts coming? I hope. That's all I'm gonna say. I don't know though. When we get another 90% off sale, you guys are gonna want to buy like 10 accounts. I skip them. I choose the time frame that has the singular fair value gap. So I have to probably go up a time frame. Morgs. People get scared to long and bullish, or to get long if there's a bearish SMT, but the bias is still bullish. And then they miss setups. They miss out on setups because they're scared of the SMT. They prioritize the SMT too much. So it's like you can still long with the bearish SMT. You just have to know the bias. It's good, Leco, but inversions and FX pairs are a little more messy. If you're doing them in FX, especially not GU or EU, I definitely recommend changing the way the stop loss works and how I do that. I just put the stop at the higher low and move your stop to break even after like 1 hour, not after internal liquidity. It's going to be lower win rate, but it's still going to be fine. Apex is like the final boss. It's the hardest pop farm, but it's the one that will get you the best. Apex will train you the best. It's very, very good for training wise when you're very newer. Yeah, you can have 20 accounts on Apex. 20 accounts max. Yes, I do both. Yeah, so I'm probably going to live trade this week again. Last week I only demoed. Tuesday I'll see. If we get good price action Tuesday, I will. If not, I'll just demo. I do not trade London, no. I just trade New York usually. New York's the best in my opinion. All right, that's going to be it. Thank you guys all for coming. Really good class again. Yeah, I will see you all later.